Leo sat in the very back row, a place where the shadows felt like a shield. His eyes remained fixed on the scratched surface of his desk, tracing the wood grain as if it held the secrets of the universe. Whenever the teacher mentioned group projects, a cold knot formed in his stomach. He kept his chin tucked low, his shoulders hunched, letting the loud voices of his classmates drift over him like a distant tide. He was a ghost in the room, content to let others decide their fate, to let others choose the topics, and to let the world move on without his input. When the science teacher finally announced the final presentation, Leo didn't look up. He simply stared at the floor, counting the speckles in the linoleum tiles while the room buzzed with the chaotic energy of a dozen different plans. The class settled on the topic of planetary motion, a subject of vast beauty and terrifying complexity. For 3 long days, Leo watched from the periphery as his teammates argued. They debated the color of the poster board and the font size of the titles, their voices rising in petty disagreements over aesthetics. They were missing the point entirely. They ignored the elegant dance of the spheres, the invisible threads of physics that held the stars in place. Leo sat in silence, his notebook filled with the correct derivations. Yet his lips remained sealed. He watched them struggle with the basic concepts of inertia and momentum, his frustration growing with every passing hour. He saw the gaps in their logic and the flaws in their understanding, but the weight of his own silence felt too heavy to break. He was a passenger on a ship headed straight for the rocks. On the 4th day, the tension reached a breaking point. Sarah, the self-appointed leader of the group, leaned over the laptop and placed a formula on the main slide. It was the wrong equation, a fundamental error that would collapse their entire presentation. Leo felt a spark of something stronger than his fear. He couldn't watch it happen anymore. The silence of the room felt brittle, ready to shatter. Without a word, Leo stood up. The screech of his chair against the floor sounded like a trumpet blast in the quiet classroom. He walked to the front, his heart hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. He reached the whiteboard, took the eraser, and with one swift motion, he wiped away the incorrect symbols. The room went deathly silent. Every eye was on him, but for the first time, he didn't look away. Leo picked up a black marker, his hand surprisingly steady. He began to draw, his movements fluid and precise. He sketched a clear orbital path, a perfect ellipse that seemed to vibrate with life on the white surface. He wrote out the gravitational constant, the numbers flowing from his mind to the board without hesitation. When he spoke, his voice was low, but it carried to every corner of the room. It is not just about the distance, he explained. It is about the invisible pull between the sun and the planets. Everything is connected by this balance. He broke down the complex relationship between mass and velocity, showing them how the mass dictated the movement of the heavens. His teammates looked at the board, then at each other, their faces shifting from confusion to genuine awe. They stopped their bickering and grabbed their notebooks, leaning in to catch every word. For the next hour, the back row boy became the center of the universe. He guided them through the grueling calculations, correcting their errors with a gentle but firm hand. He didn't look at the floor once. He looked at the math, he looked at the stars, and he looked his peers in the eye. He was no longer a ghost, he was the architect of their success. He finally knew.